This week on NHRA Today, we'll go down under for all the wild action from the Australia Nationals. Plus a profile of a guy named Lefty who's always in the right place. From Atlanta Dragway, home of the Fram Southern Nationals. These stories and more on this edition of NHRA Today. It took over a year after Kenny Bernstein's first 300-mile-an-hour run at Gainesville in 1992 to have more than one person in a field eclipse that coveted mark. Now, few people remember that the first multi-driver 300-mile-an-hour passes were made at Atlanta Dragway during qualifying for the 1993 Fram Southern Nationals. On April 23, 93, Pat Austin, Joe Amato, and Rance McDaniel all made 300-plus runs, marking the first time in NHRA history that more than one driver had qualified for an event over 300 miles an hour. Atlanta Dragway is ready for another assault on the record book this weekend. Hello, everyone, and welcome to NHRA Today. I'm Steve Evans. For the third national event in a row, we are faced with some unsettled weather conditions, but everyone is confident, even the weather guy, that the Fram Southern Nationals will go off this weekend. Now, in the next half hour, we'll tell you what's going on here at Atlanta Dragway. We'll go out to Long Beach, California, and watch Shelley Anderson road race with the Stars. And we'll have highlights of the Australian Nationals, so stick around. First, of course, though, we're going to show you what's hot. When you think of Pomona Raceway, you automatically think of the Winston Select Finals, the Cheap Auto Parts Winter Nationals, and occasional 8-mile street drags. But next weekend, Pomona goes big time again.
We're excited that in the 15th year anniversary of Super Chevy, they are returning to Southern California for an event that the Super Chevy really started there. So it's going to be a big deal. They've broken all-time free entry records. We have over 800 cars pre-entered at this time, and that surpasses the previous record of 600-odd cars at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
There has been some driver and crew chief movement in the Nitro ranks. First of all, Rance McDaniel at Atlanta will for the first time take the seat of the Peak Brothers Layback Systems car. Its former driver, Clayton Harris, will now be shoeing the John Mitchell car out of Montana. And finally, Roland Leong, who has been with Don Prudhomme the past 2 years, has gone back to what he knows best, wrenching a funny car for Ray Higley. And that's what's hot. Back in 1991, a Southern California funny car driver showed up here at Atlanta so young that his beard was more like the fuzz on a Georgia peach. But Del Worsham didn't let his immaturity get in his way.
The 1991 Southern Nationals, I remember that. It was really special to me. I started off the year as a rookie that year, and my dad says as long as we qualify, you can go race to race. So I was on the road by myself, picking him up at the races. We rolled into Atlanta, and basically I was out of money. That was going to be my last race unless something good happened. And our car wasn't very fast. We're in 540s, about like everybody, you know. I think Force went 21. That was low. The final going into Force went 522. Oswald had just picked off John Force at 521, which was really fast back then, taking out number one qualifier. So I went in there, and I'd run 545, I think. Told my dad, there's no way we can outrun this guy. So we went ahead and backed it down a little bit to make sure we went down the track. The only way we're going to beat him is if he makes a mistake. The cars fell into our favor, and we ran 550, and he smoked the tires, and we got the win.
It is with a heavy heart I tell you that alcohol dragster team owner Tom Topping passed away here at the racetrack in his sleep Thursday night from apparent heart failure. Tom will always be remembered as a man who devoted his life to helping young people through motorsports. Rest in peace, my friend.
One engine was filled with Castrol Syntec, a full synthetic oil, the rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it needs a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. Try Castrol Syntec, now also available in the 10W30.
There's one name these drivers turn to for the quality parts that give their cars the edge they need to perform and win. The same name you should turn to for the only parts guaranteed to perform in your Chrysler Corporation vehicle. Authentic Mopar parts. Available from your Chrysler Corporation dealer. Get real. Get Mopar.
When it comes to roping a steer, folks in Grand Junction, Colorado will tell you that Ron Markin can ride with the best of them. And when it comes to overhauling an engine or rebuilding a carburetor, well, he can do it all. You see, when Ron's not riding a horse for fun, he's turning a wrench for a living. So he buys a lot of parts, mostly from AutoZone. Sure, there are other parts stores in town, but Ron knows that when you want the right part for the right price, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
It's just too early to make decisions. But I have to decide on breakfast, so I go to Burger King and get a flaky croissant sandwich, hash browns and coffee for just $1.99. But then, do I get it to stay or to go?
Breakfast at Burger King.
Peerless Faucet didn't come up with the idea for a spout long and high enough to reach over and into large objects. We merely adapted it for the kitchen. High-rise faucet designs by Peerless. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
NHRA Today is brought to you by Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown. And by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them.
Welcome back, everyone. 2 years ago, it was John Force. Last year, Cruz Pedregon. This year, Shelley Anderson, invited to participate in the celebrity portion of the Toyota Long Beach Grand Prix, and you had a great time.
I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of nice people, and I got to learn to turn corners.
And they put you in with the professional drivers, not the celebrities, when the flag fell.
Yeah, I was considered a professional, even though I never turned corners. And a lot of celebrities own race cars or race. Sure. And I'll tell you, I had a lot of fun. I was just lucky to be invited.
Well, part of the experience, like you said, is meeting new people.
I got to meet a lot of nice people. I was an honor for Toyota to invite me, and I really appreciated it, yeah.
You went through some training before they put you out on that racetrack, though.
Yeah, in between the two rainouts at Houston, I went to the Willow Springs track and tested and learned to drive for 3 days and had a lot of fun. Started out 17th, only 10 laps. They got a 30-second head start, and I ended up 8th. And the last 3 laps were under yellow, so.
You know, I think you impressed everyone, staying out of trouble and finishing.
Well, I bumped the wall, and I hit one guy, and we kind of did a little stuff, but it was all fun, and I didn't have to pay for the damage.
Castrol presents the GTX Pipeline, the latest news from the world of drag racing.
For a number of years, Don and Lynn Prudhomme have been big boosters of the Madonna Day School in Memphis, Tennessee, and have spent a lot of hours fundraising. They've had barbecues, they've had auctions, but this year for Madonna, something different.
We're going to have a golf tournament. We're going to play May 4th at Quail Ridge Golf Course in Memphis, Tennessee. Tee-off times at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're all invited for Madonna Day School.
Got a lot of famous racers?
Yes, we got a lot of famous racers. We've got, of course, Dawn. We've got Joe. We've got Kenny. We've got lots of other people playing. We've got lots of sponsors, Pontiac Motorsports, GMC Truck. We've got great prizes. We've got Miller sponsoring us, and free lunch.
And importantly, anybody can play.
Well, yes, they can. That's the beauty of it. Just come on out and play with us. You're going to mix right in there and have a good time, have a nice lunch, and have a good time.
Here's the number on your screen. I'm going to play. It's only $75. That's a bargain if you've played golf lately.
The third in Australia, the third. Oh, he's fallen up! He's fallen! He's crashed it! He's crashed it!
I love my new hot rod. Those flames scare the other guys. 5,000 horsepower helps too. Had a fat bankroll. You know, we've been running Autolite spark plugs forever, but I could wring more money out of someone else. Money's good. My crew burns it. So I tell the guys we're going to run a different plug. They say no. I say I'm the boss. They say Autolite keeps this monster lit. So I tell them I was just kidding.
Now at Pep Boys, get any 4 of our 35,000-mile all-season steel-belted tires at an incredible low $99.96. That's right, any size, any set of 4, just $99.96 at Pep Boys now.
He sees what they see. He knows what they know. Some say he's even got a tiny set of gills. Fishing with Orlando Wilson, today on TNN Outdoors.
For me, the off-season is the hardest part of the year. Testing, tuning, second guessing, searching for that perfect combination. Then one day, the wait is over. There's a tension in the air. You can feel it. That's racing, and it's time to turn it loose.
TNN Motorsports. It doesn't get any closer.
Promotional consideration has been provided by Fruit of the Loom T-shirts, sweatshirts, and sports shirts, the official activewear of NHRA.
Welcome back to Atlanta. This is the brand new Top Fuel dragster, Vivica Averstedt, and after this event, it will be shipped to her native land in Sweden. And speaking of international drag racing, nowhere outside of the U.S. is the sport any more alive than down under in Australia.
The Australian Nationals, held at Calder Park in Melbourne, is without question one of the premier drag races outside the United States. And at this year's event, the 60,000-plus fans experienced more drama and record-setting performances than had ever been witnessed down under before. In a Pro Stock final matchup, Hans van Dyke's Holden Commodore in the near lane got the starting line advantage over Peter Ridgway, but Ridgway rallied mid-track, earning him his first ever Nationals title. In the Pro Stock Motorcycle Final 4, Aussie Ironman Les Donnan's Castrol Suzuki GSXR in the near lane fired off a 773 run that ended Dennis Auckland's bid at the championship. On the other side of the eliminations ladder, number 1 qualifier Peter Turnbull on board an ex-Greg Underdahl Suzuki with a Star Racing supplied power plant, red-lighted, sending Phil Howard to the money round. In a matchup of Kawasaki's and Adelaide residents, Les Donnan in the near lane got the easy victory when Howard experienced engine problems. Phil Howard's day wasn't over, though, as he was also competing in the Top Fuel bike category. In a class known for wild rides, watch this. Howard in the near lane got on and off the throttle for the win, while Bruce Barnett shot sparks off the wheelie bar, trying to keep his bike upright and on the track. In the final, Phil Howard in the near lane met up with Peter Allen, and in side-by-side sub-7-second runs, Howard took the win, and the Australian announcers got as excited as the fans.
200! 200! The first 200! The first 200! The first in Australia, the first 200! Oh, he's fallen off! He's fallen! He's crashed it!
Neither rider nor bike was seriously hurt. As you may remember, the Australia National Drag Racing Association runs alcohol funny car and dragsters in heads-up competition. But it was an all-dragster final this year when England's Steve Reed squared off against Australia's own Gary Phillips. Phillips in the far lane left too soon, handing Reed his second straight championship despite banging a blower 1,000 feet out. In Nitro Funny Car, Darren Carter's Ford Probe in the near lane met Keith Aegis Beretta. Carter won the race, but after Aegis' car became a flying fireball, he hit Carter in the rear, sending both funny car bodies skyward before sliding to a stop. Fortunately, both drivers emerged unscathed. Darren Carter thought he had made the repairs necessary to make the final round contest against Romeo Capitanio. But after a short burnout, a dejected Carter climbed out the roof hatch, and Capitanio took his second Australian Nationals win. Upsets were the name of the game in the largest Top Fuel field in Nationals history. In round 1, Rochelle Splatt, with her ex-Scott Coletta dragster in the far lane, took on Brad Simpson, driving Graham Cowan's Rocket Industries #2 car. Simpson drove around Rochelle on his way to the next round. No, you're not seeing double in the semifinals. Simpson squared off against his boss Cowan in the far lane. While backing up after his burnout, Cowan realized an A-arm had broken and was forced to watch the rookie Simpson advance to the final. Nearly identical Winfield-back dragsters appeared in the other semifinal as our very own Tom Hoover piloted Jim Reed's backup car. The outcome, too, was similar to the previous race when Reed in the far lane broke a blower snout just off the line, sending his teammate Hoover to the final. In that race, #2 qualifier Hoover selected the far lane, and even though the youngster Simpson got the advantage off the line, it was all for naught as the Rocket Industries car went up in smoke, handing Hoover the Top Fuel championship just 4 days after his final round appearance in Phoenix.
May I introduce to you the Australia National Top Fuel champion from Minnesota, Tom Hoover. Looked like a lot of fun.
It really was, Steve. We had a great time over there with the Aussies, and we're fortunate enough to win the race, and it was a great time.
And a huge crowd.
It really was. We're in America here racing all the time. You'd think that no place else has a crowd, but I was an ambassador of drag racing over there, and just seeing the crowds that our sport, our drag racing, put out in Australia as well as England and Europe, it's fantastic.
Now let's win a Winston Championship stateside, huh?
I'll sure try.
You know, folks, if you're interested in drag racing outside of the United States, check out the international section every month in National Dragster magazine. And of course, the only way you get Dragster is by joining NHRA. For $52 a year, you get 48 issues of the magazine, a pen, a patch, a decal, a rulebook, and a bunch of other stuff. And if you call the number on your screen right now, I'll make sure they throw in absolutely free your choice of the Diamond P Video Drag Racing 94 or the good-looking NHRA membership T-shirt. So make that call. And hey, check out the Sportsman action next week in Cecil County, Maryland, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Get what you want when you want it. The top name brands delivered right to your door from the performance leader. Jegg's High Performance Mail Order is your one-stop shop for Edelbrock. The Performer and Performer RPM manifolds, the Performer and Performer RPM camshaft kits, and Edelbrock Performer carbs. Get the total power package from Edelbrock. Make a free call, get a free catalog, get free shipping too. All from the place for performance.
Now, at Pep Boys, get a quality Lee oil filter for an incredible low 96 cents after mail-in rebate. That's right, a quality Lee oil filter, just 96 cents. Come to Pep Boys, now.
Work boots. There's one place they don't work. Inside, they just don't have much cushioning. Dr. Scholl's Maximum Comfort work insoles give you 100% more cushioning. They make work easier on your feet.
The gang on the safety safari trucks will tell you if you're a funny car driver and you have to have a fire, try to put it out yourself before they get there. That is possible. Here's Frank Hawley.
In drag racing, one of the things you want to avoid is fire, especially if you drive one of these nitro funny cars. Well, they've had pretty good fire protection on them for a number of years, but recently they've come up with a new product called Cold Fire 302. It's a water-based, environmentally safe product that can be used in conventional fire extinguishers or the onboard systems like we have here on John Force's funny car. And John knows a lot about fires. The chemicals released through stainless steel lines that go to nozzles in front of the engine and back on top of the driver to cool them down in case of a fire. The manufacturer tells me that some of the drivers have even coated their driving gloves and their driving suits with this chemical before they go up to race, giving them an added bit of protection from heat. Even if it's a small advantage, it's going to be something that's welcomed by all drag race drivers.
At every NHRA national event during the pre-race ceremonies, the loudest cheer from the crowd is not for a race driver, but for NHRA's vaunted safety safari. Let's meet one of its key personnel. Though his face may be recognizable to a lot of people, not everyone knows his name. But one thing's a guarantee. If you're a driver on the NHRA circuit, you know him by his nickname, Lefty, and you feel confident in the fact that he's at the top end of the racetrack looking over racers like a guardian angel. Jerry Grice grew up in Louisiana and spent much of his youth driving front-motored Top Fuel cars and has been part of NHRA's safety safari since the early 1970s. Being the lead man in rescue operations when Top Fuel and funny car pilots have high-speed incidents, Jerry's past driving experience plays a big role in his ability to deal with such situations.
I know what the mechanics of the car, you know, the way the car is built, the mechanics of it, what we need to do to get into the driver, and I go into a fire or anything looking at it from a driver's standpoint. Knowing the mechanics of the car, how the car is put together, the chassis, what it takes to cut it apart, so it makes everything work quicker. I mean, you're fighting time when you go into one of these situations anyway, and the quickest is you can get in there and get the man out, get the car out, get him on the backboard, get him in an ambulance, get him on the way to the hospital. That's what you're fighting, is just time.
One of Jerry's biggest tests came in 1993 at the Winston Select Invitational in Rockingham, North Carolina, when Corey McClanathan broke a wing during qualifying.
The first moment we saw the car was when it turned sideways in the track and hit the guardrail. And then it come over, and we were rolling and everything. I was looking up over the top of the truck when it was coming at us. When the car was still sliding, we had water on him before the car ever stopped sliding. I mean, And we bailed off and put water on him and everything as much as we could. We got the car over and got down and got him under there. I was on the ground laying up under it, helping him get out, because if you release a belt on somebody when they're hanging upside down, you got a problem right there getting them out.
I mean, thank God the safety spark was right there on top of it, put me out, had me in life flight on the way to North Carolina Burn Center within, 10 minutes after the accident.
Though most of his weekends are spent at the racetrack, off time finds Jerry at home in Shreveport with wife Peggy and son Dakota. And where do you think this family would spend their free time? At the racetrack, of course. Jerry competes in 250cc modified midgets at Bayou Cajun Raceway, while 6-year-old Dakota races in a class called Yard Cart.
We have a great time. It's a family deal. I got into it, and Dakota wasn't that interested in racing and everything, and I wanted something that we could do close to home, fairly inexpensive. So this thing is kind of put it in the box and then bring it out and race it and then put it back in there and everything. And we can do it as a family, and he's getting into go-karts now.
For Jerry, his position in the safety safari is more than just a job. It's a way of protecting drivers that he views as his own family.
We're thankful that all of the safety measures and everything that they've gone to has made our job a lot easier and everything. And these drivers, I mean, they're family to us, And I mean, it's just like a brother or something in there when it happens, and you want to do everything you can do as quick as you can do to save them, And we've been lucky.
We have to take a quick break. When we come back, Bob French Fry will join us with a sportsman report from Potato Country.
If you're looking for a reliable place to service your car or truck, I've got great news for you. It's a Pep Boys Automotive Super Center. No matter what you drive, their ASC certified technicians are here when you need them, day or night, even on Sunday. For Rebestus brakes, TRW rack and pinion repair, diagnostic tune-ups, even air conditioning. For dealer quality service at prices you can afford, come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
Today's cars and trucks are more advanced than ever, but there is a price. Their harder working engines can wreak havoc on the motor oil, breaking it down almost immediately. That's why Castrol GTX provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, or your harder working engine could make things hard on you. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown. Try Super Clean, the Tough Task Cleaner Degreaser from Castrol.
When you work with guys like Waltrip, Petty, and Wallace, you learn that keeping a car on the road means preventing problems before they start. And that's especially true with radiators. Radiator Restorer Sealer Conditioner prevents the buildup of rust and sludge that causes radiator failure, and it stops radiator leaks in seconds. Radiator Restorer lubricates and conditions your entire cooling system, plus it's environmentally safe. Why wait till problems heat up? Use Radiator Restorer and keep your cool.
Junior Conway has just given this 1967 Ferrari a $75,000 paint job.
Autofoam is the only product I would use to protect this paint job.
Autofoam with Foam Blanc from Blue Coral. Now available in a complete system of Autofoam products, including surface sealant, protectant, car wash, upholstery and carpet care, and wheel cleaner to protect your car inside and out. Plus new Shine Booster for instant touch-ups and Foam Blanc protection. Protect your car in every way. Only Blue Coral Autofoam has Foam Blanc.
Today on TNN Outdoors. No matter where adventure finds him, Ron Shearer knows why they call it the Great American Outdoors. Today on TNN Outdoors.
Welcome back, everyone. Back in the 60s, a friend of mine in Pasadena, California, named Bill New, said, Evans, I found some property in Idaho. I'm going to raise trout and build a drag strip. And darn if you didn't. Well, the trout hole died, but the drag strip is still going strong. Firebird Raceway, now run by his son, Scott. Here's the Sportsman Report with Bob Fry.
Firebird Raceway's 25th annual Igniter opener kicked off not only the Boise, Idaho track's new season, but also the Winston Drag Racing Series in Division 6. A big Easter crowd turned out for some classic Northwestern Division showdowns. In Top Alcohol Dragster, it was last season's 1-2 division finishers squaring off in the final. Rick Santos, driving that small block Chevy power plant in the near lane, beat Sean Highland to the stripe, and he did it with a big hole shot. Alcohol Funny Car had another reigning division champ competing in the final. Rick Hankelman in the far lane took on Randy Parker, both at the wheel of Oldsmobiles. This one was a fight for the entire quarter mile, as Hankelman got the narrow win to start the season right where he left off last year at the top of the standings.
This is the first time we've won this divisional here. We've won a lot of races here, but not their divisional. So it was nice to finally come through in their divisional.
In the Super Stock Final, 1992 Division 6 champion Jeff Lane in the near lane matched up against Jimmy DeFrank in only his second points race. This time, the newcomer beat the former champ, as DeFrank nailed a great light at the starting line and went on to win his first race.
This was only my second points race and my fifth race, and I just felt really good all day today. Crew chief dialed it in right and just felt really comfortable.
Super Gas Final featured another Division 6 champ, Dennis Fuller, in his Mustang. He was up against William Bexold in the far lane. Fuller won this one at the starting line as he cut down the tree to defeat his Division 7 rival. And in the Stock Final, this one too was won at the starting line as Steve Wan defeated Jody Lang's Chevy station wagon to pick up the win. Now here are the rest of the winners from Division 6. For NHRA Today, I'm Bob Fry. And now, Red Wing Shoes wants to take a moment to tell you who's hot in the world of drag racing. NHRA's Youth and Education Services was just one of many drag racing-related industries taking part in a special program held at the Jacob Javits Convention Center in New York. 18 vocational schools took part in the New York Regional Technology Competition, sponsored by the Greater New York Auto Dealers Association. Now, the two-person teams had to diagnose and solve various problems with the cars. The winning team of Robert Roscoe and Peter Carbalaria, representing the L.A. Wilson Tech Center, received lots of prizes and scholarships in addition to a $2,000 check from the association.
We were pretty confident that we'd place, but first place, I wasn't expecting it at all.
Our congratulations to Robert Roscoe and Peter Carbalaria, and be sure to keep watching next week when Red Wing Shoes will once again tell you who's hot in the world of drag racing.
Never fails. The weather turns nice, we run out of time. But we will be back next week and at the times you see on your screen for more NHRA Championship drag racing on NHRA Today.
NHRA Today has been brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond P.
During the pits here at Atlanta, you wouldn't believe the number of VCRs and motorhomes and transporters all loaded with the same tape. Diamond P's, and they walked away 4. Folks that own it can't get enough of it, and for good reason. It has everything. Of course, NHRA Championship drag racing, boom, burn, ouch. Sprint cars literally defying gravity, tumbling over and over and over. For the first time, unlimited hydroplanes. Look at the altitude these babies can hit. There's stock cars on the high banks, there's motorcycles, and they walked away 4 has it all. And best of all, the drivers beat the odds. So call the number on your screen and get your very own copy of And They Walked Away 4 from Diamond P Sports. Just like everybody here in Atlanta, you'll watch it over and over. Well, gang, that's it. We'll see you next week here on TNN. I'm Steve Evans.
NHRA Today is a presentation of Diamond P Sports.